Hey, what's up? I'm Guy.
I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. Subscribe to this channel and give the video a like.
Check out our podcast below in the description.
Now, if you've been on our YouTube channel or if you listen to our podcast, you know we love talking about Justin Herbert. We've been talking about him for a long time. I will say this, though. If you just eye tested the Chargers and listened to the way people talk about Herbert, you would think they were 5-2, John.
Yes, you would.
But they're not. They're not.
Thank God for that Week 1 win against the Bengals.
I know. So he got his first win. He looked fantastic. I didn't get this in on the podcast, but his 12 touchdowns have accounted for 378 total yards. Russell Wilson, who leads the NFL with 22 touchdowns, those TDs have gone 388 yards. So Herbert's thrown 10 fewer touchdowns, and yet he's only thrown for 10 fewer touchdown yards than Russ has. So the big play thing is real. But they got to dial in some wins here now against the team in the Broncos that they should beat. Now it's about, like, you guys going to consistently win the games you should win. Is this going to translate?
I think White got a lot of credit because he had two losses back-to-back games against Tampa and the Saints, where against Tampa he threw 3 touchdowns and they lost 38-31. So, like, the offense was humming. Then the following week, Monday Night Football, they lose 30-27. He throws 4 touchdowns, right? So it's like back-to-back games, 7 touchdowns, 2 losses, averaging about, his completion percentage was really good, probably around, if you average the 2 games together, about 60. He was really good against Tampa, 20-25. Not as great against the Saints at 20-34. And then last week, he's just making these eye-opening plays, but it's against the Jaguars. I think you're right. This week, he's the favorite, but he's not playing a great team. To me, win or lose, if he keeps playing like this, he's getting credit because he can't do anything more. Like, they've lost a couple games where he did his part. Can the defense step up? Game is on the road. I would imagine the weather. Last week it was snowing, so it's not like going to be probably 80 degrees in Denver. He's used to that. It was always our pushback on Goff, on Carr, on some of the California guys. Like, you grew up in the Bay Area, which is a little colder, but definitely L.A., and obviously, Derek played in Fresno, which was really warm, and then with Oakland, which was warm. You're not used to the cold. That's why they always, when you play in inclement weather, I bet against those guys. Herbert's grown up in Eugene, right? So how often has he practiced? I'm not even talking about games that he's played in the rain, but just off-season practices in the spring in the rain at Oregon. Countless? Or just thrown with, like, the wide receivers go out on an off day and throw in cold conditions. Like, right. I would imagine if I would love to talk to him, that he would say that it's just so warm in LA, I'm not even used to this, right? It's just, he's made for the cold to play Kansas City and Denver in those inclement, weather conditions. I actually think that should translate pretty well for his career, just being used to it.
That's a great point. He played a lot of baseball as a kid, and I know baseball is a spring and summer sport, but there is just a lot of early morning youth. I bet Eugene, you play that 8 a.m. Saturday game. It's just cold. He just played a lot of outside cold weather sports. He did play basketball too, but
you play Oregon State, you play Washington State every year. Those games are at the end. It gets cold in those games, right?
Right. Here's the other thing: if the results of their game start matching what he's doing, they're not dead yet. They're 2-4. They play Denver. Okay, win that game. Then they play the Raiders. They won't be favored in that game, but they have the ability to just it's a shootout.
They win this week and the Raiders lose. Okay. Maybe it's close to a pick 'em. You're right.
It's a home game for the Chargers. Then they play Miami. We'll see what the Tua situation, it's just a lot of unknown right now. And then they play the Jets.
So you're saying they could rattle off 4 straight wins if they win this week?
They could. I wouldn't bet on it at this point, but they could. Yeah. They could, because they've played good teams. They've played, Cincinnati, who they beat. You throw that game out. They played Kansas City. They played Carolina. They played Tampa. They played New Orleans before they played Jacksonville. So it's not like they lost 4 straight games against some chumps. So, this is an opportunity right here, Week 8, for the Chargers to kind of flip the switch. I would love, if he keeps playing like this, that's all you need. But if at the end of the year he's played like this and they've found a way to go after a 1-4 start 7-9, right? You'd go, okay, now he didn't just produce, he learned how to win along the way.
You'd say, is he the offensive rookie of the year up to this point over Burrow, you think?
It's hard for anybody but a quarterback to win. CeeDee Lamb's been really good.
Yeah.
But
that might slow down with DiNucci.
Yeah, that might slow down with DiNucci, right? Yeah, he might be. I mean, I haven't looked at his number. Have you looked at his number side by side with Burrow? That's a great question. We should do that.
I
right
mean,
now.
well, he's got. I mean, Herbert's right now 12 touchdowns, 3 picks, and clearly his air yardage that you broke down, he has several touchdowns over 50
just
plus
clarify,
yards.
it's not air yards; it's just the total touchdown yardage. But
Gotcha. But I'm just saying, like,
they're all big plays.
Some of those 50 and 70-yard plays are not wide receiver screens, right? The 70-yard pass,
I don't think
the ball's flying 50 yards.
I don't think he's throwing a touchdown to a running back.
So I right now Herbert is 67%, 12 touchdowns, 3 picks, and clearly winning for these
12
guys.
and 3.
12 and 3.
Burrow's 67%, 9 and 5.
9 and 5. And I think you'd say Herbert has more weapons to deal with when he's got Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry. That's part of the deal.
Yeah. But if you're asking who wins the Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year,
if they start rattling off some wins and end up around 8, 9 wins, which is not inconceivable, he would feel like a lock. Yeah. And Burrow could have a fantastic. I think that's the powerful part about this year, right? Last year when Kyler won it, it was a no-brainer. I think we could end this season and be like, and who knows with Tua, but he's way behind the 8 ball. When this season ends, these two guys, Herbert and Burrow, you go, these are 2 franchise quarterbacks. They're a little different, right? One guy is a little, Burrow will probably be better than this guy, but like Tony Romo-ish, just makes all these crazy plays, where Herbert is this Roethlisberger? That's just not as big of a character risk as a young guy, right? Or something like this guy. Is he like the modern day Roethlisberger? I guess Josh Allen's got a little bit of that too.
Yeah, he might just be
Herbert. He's got a little cam to him, but he's more accurate.
Me, he's got like I remember early on, I thought he reminded me of Kaepernick a little bit actually, because just kind of part of it was his motion, and to me the trajectory of his deep ball looked like Collins.
Because it's not as loopy as Russell.
Because the arm is so strong, and he's kind of a straight line runner like Colin, right? But so far, again, it's hard. Who did I hear the other day saying this? Some former quarterback was saying, like, look, you can't talk about guys in 1 year windows. Like part of the essential part of the position is being consistent. That's because there's just adjustments every week and every year, and being great is about. Part of being great is just stacking up really, really good years, one after the other, after the other, after the other. That's part of the difficulty of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, but like even this year's a great example, right? Josh Allen, he's still 16 touchdowns, 4 picks, and he's 4th in the league in yards. But it hasn't looked the same. It hasn't been as accurate the last few weeks, right?
Yeah.
It's just part of. Yeah. You know who's 5th in the league in yards right now?
Yards thrown.
Yeah, Teddy. You know who leads the league? Who is Matt Ryan going to lead the league in like years in which he leads the league without it translating to
one
anything?
Thing I think we need to, like the analytic community needs to do a better job of, there should be 2 separate categories. As the guys with the 49ers call themselves the Yak Boys, there should be your yards thrown after catch and just your ball that are completed. Because wouldn't that be a more like if you have whatever that new number becomes, you'd be like, damn, you threw 2,700 yards completed, like that right when the guy caught it. That would be really whatever that number is, because we're seeing 48, 5. What does that even mean anymore? I watch some of these plays. If Alvin Kamara takes a sweet screen pass 70 yards, that's the one thing I think we all agree with Herbert, which makes him so crazy, is like he is throwing bombs every game, bombs. And Mike Williams is in and out of the lineup. It's like this Guyton. It's one thing. Last week, Keenan Allen had 10 for 25, so he's got a guy working over the middle, and he's hitting these guys on deep bombs. I can't wait to watch Justin Herbert play every week.
Leader in air yards right now in the NFL is Carson Wentz. Joe Burrow is 2nd.
So Burrow's letting it rip.
Yeah, Burrow's letting it rip.
And Herbert just doesn't – he missed a game, right? So he's a game behind those guys. But he can't be too far behind him, I'd imagine, right? Who does the air yardage stats? Where'd you find that?
I just on some fantasy site. I think they're. Where's Herbert? Herbert, yeah, he's further down the list.
Gotcha.
But
we don't want to skew our own argument. So.
I don't see. I got to go to Yak. I got to find Garoppolo. Garoppolo is behind. Oh no, that's Nick Mullins. Anyway, all right. This is about Justin Herbert. He's a stud.
Yeah.
But this is a big game.
Can't wait.
Do.